What is up, guys? The topic of this video is the art of humility. So I've played badminton for pretty much all my life. I started around when I was 8 years old, and I believe that sports like badminton can reveal the fundamental nature of an individual. And it's been said that sports bring out the best and the worst in people. And just like in any sport, in badminton, there's always a winner and a loser. So now as players, play against one another, they begin to get a grasp of who's good and who's not. And sometimes they don't even play against everyone. They just hear from other people how good someone is. And, if you verse them, you're going to get destroyed. You're going to get wrecked. So you better watch out for that player. And eventually a hierarchy is formed, and this hierarchy essentially allocates each player into their own quote-unquote deserved spot. So let's say that you're ranked below player X in this hierarchy. And, if you lose to player X, then people wouldn't really be surprised. But if you beat player X, well, that may make people uncomfortable because you've now challenged the hierarchy. And, people may not even accept it at first, but slowly the hierarchy shifts and you take player X's place. And, if player X is a good player and you beat player X, then it's really likely that people are going to put you on a pedestal now. And, don't be afraid of other people putting you on a pedestal, but don't seek to be placed on a pedestal. So how does all of this even relate to humility? Well, you see, players at the top of the hierarchy are pretty much treated as celebrities. So, you place on a pedestal. So when they walk into the badminton stadium, you can notice a shift in the atmosphere. Of course, this is totally natural, but what I like to observe is how do these players at the top of this hierarchy act when other people place them on a pedestal. And so, how they act can clearly, show me, what their true character is like. And so there are some people, who obviously enjoy, and utilize the status. They may go around walking like, hey, look at me, I'm number one, I'm way cooler than you because I'm better than you at badminton, But the problem with this mentality is, what happens if you lose your spot in the hierarchy? What if, you were a winner 5 minutes ago and then you lost to someone? Well, now you're pretty much a loser. Or what happens if you suffer an injury that prevents you from playing the sport? So, that's something to consider. So then there are the people who don't think too much of the hierarchy and they treat everyone else as equal to them, even when some of these people are, way worse than them at badminton. Now, I think that these are the ones who have true character. So these are the individuals who understand that even though they're really good at badminton, their intrinsic self-worth is not defined by and attached to badminton. And that's what allows them to be humble. They realize that even if they're better than you in badminton, that doesn't make them superior to you. And even though they're placed at the top of the hierarchy, even though they're placed on a pedestal, they're not defined by the hierarchy and they're not defined by the pedestal. And, although other people perceive them to be within this hierarchy, they don't perceive themselves to be a part of this hierarchy. And essentially they have transcended that hierarchy and now they're only an observer and not a participant. Of course, what I just talked about is pretty ideal. It's an idealistic vision. And, if you can totally transcend this hierarchy, then you're pretty much a saint, okay? So, in reality, a lot of us, will still be affected by this hierarchy. And it doesn't just pertain to badminton. It also, it's also a part of life. That could be the number of followers on, your Instagram account, the number of stories we get tagged in, the number of people who attend our 21st, our salary, how much our boss pays us, the car we drive, so a lot of these things. But what we can do is to not confuse our intrinsic self-worth with these external things that we can't, directly control. So we shouldn't really tie our self-worth with our BMW, okay? And we shouldn't tie our self-worth with, this hot girl that we're dating, because these things are fleeting. These things change. What if you're not dating that girl anymore? What if she breaks up with you, right? Or what if you're driving your car and you paid for it using a loan, and now interest rates have gone up, and now you can't afford that car anymore? Well, now you got to give the car up, right? But that's going to take your ego is going to take a big hit. So, if you try to tie your self-worth to these things, it's going to cause unnecessary suffering for you. So, yeah, we shouldn't take advantage of these things to boost our ego, because in reality, it's just a reflection of low self-esteem and low self-worth. Because a person with high character, a person that is high value, they know they're high value, they don't need to convince other people that they're high value, because they know that deep down they're valuable, and they're useful to other people, and they provide value to other people. So don't flaunt. Don't try to be high status, high value, popular, or successful, or whatever. You don't need to prove anything. And when you're valuable, people will know, and you won't need to convince them. So that's it for this video, and thank you guys for listening.